Okay, and just as I stated, the demon possessed and the demonic environment, very predictable, highly unnatural. This is direct evidence against the Fontana Police Department. There is no angle of any sunlight that's going to be inside of my apartment at 1806 North Alvarado Street at 5:09 p.m. As documentation establishes, I remain at 8437 Arrow Boulevard and documenting the maintenance of the light source over me, while also the Fontana Police Department are group stalking that is terrorizing me while they are monitoring in a helicopter. And this has captured several occasions over a term of years while the Fontana Police Department engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, and also at the same time engaging in what is the behavior of the highly malicious demon-possessed entity that was hostile to being documented and would engage in criminal summoning, harassment, making threats while they have no legal jurisdiction while they're monitoring. This light activity inside of my apartment is an admission of the entity, and it is an admission that's going to be used against not only the people of the state but the Fontana Police Department, who were documented as engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. I want to be clear: the Fontana Police Department is still engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring as I'm documenting it right now in 2024, because they remain a part of the entity. Just because I'm in Los Angeles does not in any way suggest that they cease to be a part of the entity. The entity is engaged in the pattern of conduct. The entity is currently acting on behalf, the state of California is monitoring while I am in Los Angeles County, in other words. Wherever I go, the state is acting. And this is ongoing direct evidence against the Upland Police Department, against the Ontario Police Department, against the Fontana Police Department, where there is no angle of any sunlight that would ever appear in my bedroom. And just like I stated, outside of my office, while Satan, okay, this demon possessed entity that's monitoring on my phone and monitoring documentation that's going toward the impermissible threat, the intent to obstruct justice, the psychopath that's monitoring documentation. That's why they're going to federal prison for a long time. Okay. This is the same conduct while Fontana Police Department were engaged in criminal summoning and engaged in harassment and engaged in what is psychopathic stalking, standing in circles with their back to me, bearing weapons with the light source over my head, which at no point would ever result in the sun being in any location near my apartment in LA, based on what you see on April 6, 2022, in the afternoon of 1:23, 1:30, 2 and 153, and as my ongoing documentation of the maintenance of that light source upon my exit of that venue on more than one occasion. That's how you're prosecuting the entity. And like I said, these are demon possessed group stalkers who, again, do not understand the ways in which I'm going to use evidence. But this is not just about that. I want you to understand how Satan works. Okay. I want you to understand that's what I'm referencing when I'm talking about the demon possessed. Demon possession is a matter of having a wicked spirit on you, and that is invisible. So it's not about what you believe, religiosity. It's not about any of that. This is a reality of the condition of people, and demon possession has the affect of engaging in what is evil and wicked. And right now I'm documenting what is group stalking, very highly criminal, very highly malicious by government. That's a real threat to my life. I want to be clear: in my apartment, I'm not secure. My doors are locked, but the entity has the keys to my apartment. The entity is stalking 24/7 in helicopters. The entity is engaged in ongoing invasion of privacy as an entity. And there is nothing that is actually stopping them from coming into my apartment, creating a narrative about why or what happened, going on the news and stating that I just disappeared. This is what's really capable of occurring when a government is monitoring you in concert with the people. Understand the real life threat to my safety and well-being while I am being monitored. All I am doing is one that is speaking to the reality of what a government is engaging in and the threat to your life. This is something that is happening to people and has happened to people, and nobody actually knows the truth. Okay. And that distresses me. So that is why I will in no way, and I have not ever been, scared or, hesitant to speak the truth. Not only is it important to speak the truth, but it's important that you understand it. Okay. I don't want to talk over anyone's head. And that's why I make the point to document in ways that you can see with your own eyes. You can hear it with your own ears. You are witnessing what it is that I'm speaking about. And then when I'm telling you about the invisible, and it's a fact, the fact of demon possession, you're seeing the evidence of it in the physical. Okay. There is no sunlight that's going to appear inside of my bedroom through closed blinds, shooting like an angle on the wall, creating magnified light, okay? While the entity is having the placement of a light source, which is here from the beginning to the end of the day, first of all. And secondly, when you're looking at evidence of the maintenance of the so-called sun in an entirely different region, that is impossible in every way, but it's serving a criminal purpose and it's highly malicious. This is the operation of evil, okay? And there will come a day, like I stated this morning, there will come a day when this demonic entity, which is operating over the government in the United States, the state of California, this is what's occurring in the United States. This is where we're at. But it's going to come a time where it's not going to go to the effort to try to conceal itself anymore. It's important that you are aware of what surrounds you and the face of evil. The face of evil isn't necessarily wielding a knife with blood dripping down from it. Okay, the face of evil is very often smiling and intentionally seeking to appear as unoffensive and I would say disarming. Okay. This is a demon-possessed group stalker, a psychopath that's affiliated or hired by a police officer, and they're smiling. Okay, they're being the most friendly and every bit of the pattern of conduct is underway. So you are learning about what's actually legally relevant in the federal prosecution, first of all. But secondly, you are learning about malice. That's important to learn just as a matter of living life, by the way. This is not to cause anybody to be paranoid. This is not to cause you to second guess every person. It's not about that whatsoever. Okay. And I don't go around assuming the worst about everyone either. But having witnessed evil and being aware of that which people who surround me do not want to be known, the ability to speak to that invisible condition and also point to what is a crime that they're engaging in. You can't just engage in this demonic activity. You can't. In the United States, it's actually a crime. Okay. And so you're understanding what is an exceedingly egregious, unthinkable crime. All right. But it's also understanding the reality of what's going on in this country. And this has implications for the rest of the world. But Satan is real, whatever you want to call it, the enemy, darkness, spiritual darkness, that which we as a society actually try to disregard and say that doesn't exist. Okay, well, you are blatantly under these circumstances with regard to the pattern of conduct, you are being unreasonable because you're disregarding the physical evidence that you cannot deny. You're being unreasonable now. Okay, we're not just pontificating about ideas and trying to grasp at notions that we can't even see. That's not what the P.O.C. is. All right, so anyway, it's currently 5:16 p.m. And the entity is maintained based on that light activity. I'm going to continue with my analysis. 5:20 p.m. I'm exiting the Fontana Lewis Library. No, I'm sorry. I'm inside of the building of the Fontana Lewis Library and I walk toward the back of the library. The back of the library faces Sierra Avenue. The front of the library faces the parking lot where the Fontana Police Department were standing around in a circle at 1:53 p.m. facing the people of the state who were intentionally putting on a whole drama, okay, while the light source is over my head. And I'm showing you about what the light source is over my head at the same time in Los Angeles, California. Those are psychopaths who think that they can get away with targeting an American citizen and nobody's going to believe that American citizen. That malice in and of itself is worthy of prolonged time in federal prison while they commit an unthinkable crime against an American citizen in violation of their constitutional human rights. And they're surrounded with insurmountable evidence to that end. Now at 5:20 p.m., I am walking, and I'll upload this to the P.O.C. To the Compare the P.O.C. folder. At 5:20 p.m., I'm inside of 8437 Arrow Boulevard, and while I'm in the back of that library, and I have more videos of the impossible light activity that fills Fontana Lewis Library, but I'm just going to use this one. 5:20 p.m. It's currently 5:17 p.m. While you're looking at this light activity inside of my apartment, I want you to look at the video at 5:20 p.m. In 2022 when I'm inside of the Fontana Lewis Library and I'm facing Sierra Avenue, and you're looking at what is impossible light activity above my head on the wall, on the ceiling above, as though traffic, these are demons engaging in what is crossing paths with impossible light, just like they were on video on April 6, 2022, in the video captured at 1:35 p.m. Impossible light touching across my person and touching across the sidewalk in the building. This is an iteration of that same demonic behavior, which is serving a criminal system of state surveillance. And the impossible light is occurring on the inside of the Fontana Lewis Library as I'm walking toward the back facing Sierra Avenue. And the light source is hovering over that Fontana Lewis Library. And that is not visible from my office door or some view from my bedroom window, resulting in any sunlight through closed blinds, like a laser moving across my pillow and on the wall and magnified over here. None of that is possible. And also, by the way, it's also not possibly sunlight when you are witnessing the phenomenon in and of itself from 7:30 a.m. till 5. We'll say 6, because after I've documented it from after 5, well after 5:50 p.m., which I juxtaposed with another video at when I'm at Fontana Lewis Library, and Fontana police are group stalking by helicopter when I'm walking out at 4:50 p.m. 5:50 p.m. All right, so let's count the hours. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's nothing that is even persuasive. This is a blatant admission as to engaging in what is terrorism while a government practices satanic ritualistic methods of targeting someone in a way that is designed to torment and also keep the targeted individual in a position where they're suffering in silence. Not only because they're being targeted by everyone, including those whose name you know, but also by the fact that there is nobody to get any legal recourse from. There's no courthouse you can go to. The court is monitoring. All right. There's no police that you can report it to. The police are monitoring. All right. There's no, you're not going to go to some sheriff's department. They'll kidnap you. They're monitoring. They will defame you and kidnap you. Already documented it. P.O.C. Okay. There is no recourse. There is nowhere to go. Okay. And that is, okay, something that grieves me to be in the position and advocate on behalf of the ordinary target individual that is left without recourse. That's part of the reason why I understand this happened to me, not because it's going to overcome me, because I'm speaking to the reality of what people have gone through and what people are going through right now by a government and a people, a demon-possessed one. Okay. In other words, malicious psychopaths who are targeting, and it's criminal. This demonic activity, I'm surrounding it by laws that exist and advocating laws that you can further use to prosecute the supernatural in a real tribunal with facts and evidence. Okay. But I want to be clear, that level of malice, that's unlawful by a government. Yeah. You put them away in federal prison for a long time, for a very long time. And that is to disincentivize, to deter, to punish. And that's necessary as a matter of justice. All right. It is currently, again, while you see this, it's 5:20 p.m. Yeah, there's no light source and I'm going to upload that video and you'll see that light source hovering in all of its essence on Sierra Avenue while I'm at the Fontana Lewis Library, where I was also present, showing you on March 30th at 10:04 a.m. It's over my head at that same address. And the entity is engaging in that ongoing pattern of conduct. And this is serving for what is an outright admission by the demon possessed, who are fully defeated, who are going to be subject to justice throughout this country. And they are also going to be removed from this country. Those that aren't even natural born citizens, they were being removed. You have what are people that are part this population being put in federal prison for prolonged terms. You have what is the removal of these attorneys with the district attorney's offices. These are demons. With the public defender's office, these are demons. Those are sitting on the bench in these courts. They're demons. Okay. The state of California denied very basic fundamental aspect of First Amendment due process, which is service process. And you know who did it? The demon-possessed San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, who has a statutory duty to provide a delivery of notice. All right. When I sought to enforce my rights and sue the state of California, they outright denied it while they're monitoring. And that was a criminal obstruction of justice, seeking to conceal the system. And to date, I continue to document that. That's also why they're going to federal prison while they're at the Upland Public Library, smiling under the light source, which is not the sun, at 10:49 a.m. and at 5:21 p.m. engaging in an ongoing admission, showing how long that they deserve to be in federal prison and why the federal government needs to disband them. All right. And while they're getting that criminal record, while they are going to be placed on the list as group stalkers maintained by the Department of Justice, this light activity is speaking to all of that. Everything that you just saw right there, while the demonic seeks to terrorize American citizens. And that's the purpose, not just to prosecute a government, but it's also to educate you. You need to learn about what's going on, because for such a time as this, it's not supposed to be a secret anymore. And so all I'm doing is just telling you, you're looking at it, and I'm letting you know what you're looking at. You've been looking at it. Maybe you weren't paying attention. Okay. But what's going on in California, I'm in California. It's letting you know what's going on in Florida, because there is no sun that's reaching the natural environment. There is no sun that is reaching the state of Florida, let alone what is Fontana, California, contrary to what I documented. Okay. So contrary to what you're seeing in Florida, but it ain't the sun. Okay. And I spoke like that on purpose to emphasize that is under no circumstances the natural environment. Okay. It is currently 5:22 p.m. This is P.O.C.